Ladies, we all want to look younger, but that doesn't necessarily mean going back to our 20s and 30s.
Oh, no. In fact, we have makeup tips for the mature woman. And this is Chick to Chick.
So Flora, obviously we've talked a lot about me turning 50. And it's like, you look in the mirror at 50 and you think about when your mother was 50, you think about when even maybe your grandmother was 50, and you start to realize, as Dolly Parton said in Steel Magnolias, honey, time marches on. And sometimes you realize it marches straight across your face, right?
It sure does.
One of my favorite lines. And here's the thing. I'm not afraid of getting older. I want to mature, but the problem is I don't want to do the wrong things, So I started using a couple of products lately, to make my face just look a little more youthful, have more moisturizer to it. One of my favorites is Tretinoin, which is actually, you get it from a dermatologist. Kind of, reduces those age spots, which I do have on my face from, all the tanning that I did. So yeah, you know what I mean? You're trying to do things so that you can kind of preserve the youthful face you hope that you still have somewhere, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, let's be honest. We do. We want to look our best. We want to have makeup, hair and whatnot. And you want to look younger, but you can't overdo it with the makeup. And I think the older we get, I've kind of adopted that philosophy, less is more, because you don't want to pile it on like we used to in our 20s and our 30s, because I think it actually ages us. And you mentioned what works for you. I found this great product. I freaking love this. I've have terrible dark circles under my eyes. And I found this like orange concealer. It's a color corrector. And it just works for me. And I love this go-to product. But, we don't know everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so we decided to go right to the expert to get tips, makeup tips for the mature woman, which brings us to our guest today, Caroline Picking. She is a makeup artist. Caroline, thank you so much for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you here. So let's get right to it. What is the biggest mistake that women make in their 50s when they're applying their makeup?
So I would have to say, everything drops as we get older. Everything, kind of falls down.
Yep.
And so we want to create that illusion of lifting everything up. So placement is really important when you're putting makeup on your face. The complexion, hydration. Everybody wants that radiant, youthful glow. And, with modern technology and the refinement of cosmetics, you can definitely achieve a much softer looking complexion and still get that coverage and, get that youthfulness back. But it is really important on how you put the products on and how you layer them.
Aha. So that brings me to telling us, how do we do that? What's the best thing that we can do? And I know it doesn't cost a ton of money. It's just putting on the right stuff at the right time.
Right. So hydration for sure. Always put your makeup on right after skincare. A lot of times women do their skincare, make the bed, drink coffee, and come back. And if they are a little on the dry side, it's already absorbed. So then they put the foundation on and it doesn't go on real smooth. The other thing is using a primer. And you always want to use the products that are right for your skin type. So if you are on the dry side, which we tend to be as we get a little older, you want to make sure you're using a smoothing primer, something that's going to give the skin the texture look a little bit smoother. It's almost like road surfacing where you're filling in. So the foundation is going to act as...
Sorry, I love that analogy, Caroline. Yeah. I'm just picturing, potholes,
yes,
lines in the road. That's a perfect description. Smooth that stuff out.
Yeah. So you want to smooth the texture. And then, of course, your foundation is, when you're putting your foundation on, you're going to, hide some of the imperfections like dark spots, uneven skin tone. The other mistake I find when women put on their foundation is it's almost like they're scrubbing their face. Application is important. I recommend, using a tool, a brush or, a beauty blender, which, beauty blenders are sponges, but they're a little tighter than your generic sponges. So they don't allow the foundation to really absorb into the sponge. But I would still recommend application with a brush. If you use your hands, or when you're putting foundation on, you want to go lightly. Women tend, like I said, they rub off what they're doing because they're pressing too hard. And you really want to focus in the areas that you need the coverage. Less is best in the areas that you don't.
Yeah, when you put too much on, I think it makes the lines and wrinkles look worse. It's almost like the makeup gets in the lines and wrinkles and accentuates them and makes them look worse. So you really have to be careful on that. I noticed something that some of my friends do, and I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that. And tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong here. They're using black eyeliner. And I'm like, no black. No black when you turn 50. You can't use black eyeliner. And I use like a dark brown. Is that the right advice or is that wrong?
So it really depends on the eye color and the skin tone. Some women who have darker complexions and dark brown eyes, they can handle the darker color of eyelining. The key to eyelining is you don't want it too thick on the bottom versus the thickness of the top. A lot of times women will put a really thick line underneath the eye and it just pulls the eye down. And also you want to keep your eyelining more to the corner versus going the whole, the outer corner versus going the whole way to the inner corner. Because when you do that, then you draw more attention to the inner corner, which we tend to get really dark in here. So using that dark liner underneath definitely will kind of close the eye in. So using brighter, softer colors, even using a little bit of a shadow underneath makes a difference versus, the heavy line.
That's smart. I was going to say, sometimes I have like a little wedge and I take, and smudge just a little bit of an eyeshadow. So the other thing is lips. There's like two things I think about when I think of lips. Some women just go like real bright, like their lips walk in the room before the rest of them does.
Right.
And then the other is,
You're not talking about me, are you?
I am. I'm talking about you, Flora. Your lips enter the room. No, I'm kidding. But also, like, I'm not a smoker, but I still notice that I get these little lines. And so, I don't always want to line the lips. Sometimes I just want to put, like, I have more of a glossy look on now. How do you help us navigate the lips, our new lips?
Yeah. So again, key is manual exfoliation. If you have dead skin on the lips, on the complexion, there's chemical exfoliation like your retinols and, your vitamin C's, which are going to help the skin to kind of produce the cells and bring them to the surface quicker. But when you have dryness on the surface, you have to slough that off. That's going to make a difference in how, the makeup sits on the skin. But around the lips, especially, or on the mouth, you really want to make sure you're scrubbing, getting rid of the dead skin. As far as like the lines and the wrinkles, I find if you use a lip liner, and you can use one that kind of matches your lip tone, something that's waterproof, that'll help keep lipstick and things from feathering. A lot of women tell me that their lipstick kind of feathers or it bleeds. And, also you maybe using the base of a matte lipstick and then putting your gloss or something more creamy over top. That will help too.
That's interesting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as far as lip color goes, if you are going to go more intense on the lips, keep it a little softer on the eyes. Sometimes if you're wearing a black evening dress, it just depends, I think, on what you're wearing as well.
I have that same problem. And it's funny that you said that because I do take the time to exfoliate my face, but I don't think so much around here. So I'm going to get out some sandpaper and take care of that. I didn't even think about that. Something else that I noticed, let's talk about the eyebrows. I know that look is in for young girls, that they're creating these humongous eyebrows.
Right.
Is that a good look for the mature woman, to create these massive eyebrows that sort of enter the room too, as Carrie used that analogy?
Groucho Marx.
Yeah. I mean, is that a good look for a mature woman?
I would say not. I mean, again, we tend, eyebrows definitely fade as we get older, and they are the frame around the eyes. I think they're important to have. But I think, you just really have to, base it on the thickness of the beginning of your brow. And, you always want to taper that, taper the brow. It should not, it should go from thick to thin. A lot of times on the brow too, a lot of women take the brow and they come the whole way down. And you really don't want to do that. Again, everything is an illusion of lifting. So when you do that outer corner, which fades a lot, you just kind of want to make sure that you're combing it in an upward direction and not coming completely down.
Because that closes the eye down when you bring it the whole way down. And maybe if you do it like on an angle more, it provides a lift.
Yeah, so it pulls it down. Same thing with placement of blush, high, 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 versus coming down here. Same thing with contour, a little bit high. Same with eyeshadow. When you're blending eyeshadow, you want to blend inward versus coming down. So you kind of want to create that illusion of going up. So brows, though, the brows you want to come from the inside, but work them not coming down, but kind of out.
I have one last question, and that would be, I don't have a lot of product in my drawer anymore. I used to collect all kinds of makeup, whether it's samples or get it, excited about trying new things. I really try to keep it simple now. And I wonder if there are just some simple, like if you had 3 things that you should put on to run out the door, what would those 3 things be?
I would say mascara to open up the eye.
Yeah.
I would say a little bit, and if you don't have any brows, just, something to you can use a brow gel, something just to kind of make them pop a little bit. And, a lip, just a gloss or something, just to kind of balance everything.
And just to give you a little bit more of a polished look.
Yes.
I think this was great. I love chirping with you. I love all of the tips that you have. And we're just so grateful that you came on to give us these tips for the mature woman. So thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really had fun.
Great. Carrie, again, the message is where we started from the beginning: less is more. I know we all want to look young, but we cannot apply makeup like we did when we were 20 and 30. Now that we're 50 something, and less is more.
Yeah. The road analogy got me well. My face is a road, and I need to pave it well before I put anything else on it. I love it. Caroline was fantastic. And we love that you tuned in to listen to us chirp today. And we hope you'll come back when we have another topic to chirp about.